Dear students, good morning to all. Now we will going to discuss about chapter 12, reproduction in plants. Okay, what is reproduction? Already we learned about sixth standard reproduction, the definition of reproduction. Okay, what is reproduction? The production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproductions. The production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproduction. That is a definition of reproduction. Okay, are you clear, students? Reproductions. What is reproduction? The production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproductions. Okay, what is then modes of reproductions? Modes of reproductions. Most plants have root, stem and leaves. These are called vegetative parts of a plant. Most plants have roots, stems and leaves. These are called vegetative parts of a plant. After a certain period of growth, most plants bear flowers. Okay, what is the vegetative parts? Most plants have root, stem and leaves. That is the vegetative parts of plants. Okay, what is the reproductive parts? Flowers, the reproductive parts. Okay, which one is the vegetative parts? Which one is the reproductive parts? Which one is the vegetative parts? Vegetative parts, plants, roots, stems and leaves. That is the vegetative parts. Then reproductive parts, flowers. Flowers is the reproductive parts. A flower may have either the male part or the female part or both male and female parts. Okay. Okay, listen. Vegetative parts, reproductive parts. Which one is the vegetative parts? Which one is the vegetative parts? Plants have roots, stems and leaves are the vegetative parts. Then reproductive parts. Which one is the reproductive parts? Flowers. Flowers are the reproductive parts. The flowers perform the functions of reproduction in plants. Flowers perform the functions of reproduction in plants. So, which one is the reproductive parts? Flowers. Flowers are the reproductive parts of plant. A flower may have either the male part or the female part or both male and female parts. A flower may have either the male part or the female part or both male and female parts. Okay, listen. Then there are several ways by which plants produce their offsprings. These are categorized into two types. What are the two types of offspring produced? Sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, sexual and asexual reproductions. In sexual reproduction, plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Whereas in sexual reproduction, plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Note the point, students. Asexual reproduction, plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Or you remember, students, asexual reproductions without seeds. Sexual reproduction, the plants are obtained from seeds. That is a sexual reproduction. Asexual reproductions, plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Okay. Sexual reproduction, new plants are obtained from seeds. That is the main difference. What is the main difference, asexual and sexual reproduction, students? What is the main difference, asexual and sexual? Asexual reproduction, the plants give rise to new plants without seeds. Without seeds means it is a main difference. With the seeds in sexual reproduction, that is a main difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. Okay. Okay. Asexual reproductions. In asexual reproductions, new plants are obtained without productions of seeds or spores. Asexual reproductions. In sexual reproduction, new plants are obtained without production of seeds or spores. That is asexual reproduction. Next, vegetative provocations. It is a type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are produced from roots, stems, leaves and buds. Since the reproduction is through the vegetative parts of the plant, it is known as vegetative propagations. What does mean by vegetative propagations? It is a type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are produced. New plants produced from new plants, where it is produced new plants, roots, stems, leaves and buds. Okay, since the reproduction is through the vegetative parts of the plant, it is known as vegetative propagation. Okay, next activity. Okay, cut a branch of rose champa with a node. This piece of branch is termed as cutting. This piece of branch of termed as cutting. See the picture, students. Stem cutting of vegetative propagation, stem cutting of rose. Okay, which leaf arise, water the cutting every day and observe its growth. Observe and record the number of days taken for roots to come out and new leaves to arise. Okay, new leaves to arise. Observe and record the number of days taken for roots to come out and new leaves to arise. Okay, the money plant in a jar of water and record your observations. See the picture, students. Stem cutting of rose, bud in the axial section, axial part. This one is a node. Okay, next. The flowers buds develop into flowers. Apart from the flower buds, there are buds in the axial of leaves which develop into shoots. These buds are called vegetative buds. These buds are called vegetative buds. Note the point, students. These buds are called vegetative buds. A bud consists of a short stem around which immature overlapping leaves are folded. The vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Okay, see next one activity, students. Take fresh potato. Okay, students, all of you do this activity, students. Take a fresh potato, observe scars on it with the help of magnifying glass. You may find buds. These scars are also called eyes. These scars are also called eyes. Cut a few pieces. Okay, cut a few pieces. See the picture, students. Potato plants sprouting from an eye of a potato each with an eye and bury them in the soil. Water the pieces regularly for a few days and observe their progress. See likewise the bryophyllum. Next one, ginger with the new plant sprouting from it. See the picture, students. This one is a sprouting. Okay, so sprouting eyes. This one is a sprouting eyes in potato. Then sprouting in a ginger with a new plants sprouting from it. Okay, students. Next, likewise you can also grow ginger or turmeric. Okay, anyone. Okay, next one, bryophyllum. Bryophyllum is a sprout leaf plant. Bryophyllum, another name. What is a bryophyllum? Another name, sprout leaf plant. Bryophyllum, another name, sprout leaf plant. Has buds in the margins of leaves. If a leaf of this plant falls on a moist soil, each bud can give rise to new plant. Okay, bryophyllum, another name, sprout leaf plant. Okay, see the students, bryophyllum, another name, sprout leaf plant. Okay, next, the roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants. Sweet potato and dahlia are example. The roots, listen students, leaf of bryophyllum with buds in the margin. This one is a new plants. Okay, this is a new plants, a leaf of bryophyllum with the buds in the margin. The roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants. Example, sweet potato and dahlia are example. Sweet potato and dahlia are example. Next, plants such as cacti produced new plants which, when their pods get detached from the main plant body, each detached plant can grow into a new plant. Okay, Plants produced by vegetative propagations take less time to grow and bear flowers and fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. The new plants are exact copies of a parent plant as they are produced from a single parent. Okay, next, later in this chapter, the plants produced by sexual reproduction. Note the point, students. Plants produced by sexual reproductions. Or you remember, students, this one? The plants produce seeds as a result of sexual reproductions. Next one, budding. What is mean by budding? What is budding? You have already learnt about budding. Like yeast can we see only under microscope. Can only see only under microscope. These grow multiple every few hours if sufficient nutrients are made available to them. Okay, next, activity, students, to be demonstrated by, listen, next activity, this one is a reproduction in yeast by budding. So budding example, yeast. Are you clear, students? Budding example, yeast. Okay, see, take a pinch of yeast. Okay, take a pinch of yeast. And what are the uses of yeast? The yeast mainly uses in bakeries for making bread. Okay, bread, cakes. Okay, so, that is the mainly uses of yeast. Okay, take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. Add a spoonful of sugar and a shake to dissolve it. Keep it in the warm pot of your room. After an hour, put a drop of this liquid on a glass slide and observe under microscope. What do you observe? You may see the formation of new yeast cells. You may see the formation of new yeast. That is a simple, students. Take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. Okay, add a spoonful of sugar and shake to dissolve it. Keep it in warm pot of your room. After an hour, put a drop of this liquid on a glass slide and observe under a microscope. What do you observe? You may see the formations of new yeast cells. Okay. Okay, listen. Reproduction in yeast by budding. Yeast cells developing bud. This one is a new bud. Next, chains of bud. That's developing one. Okay, that is a reproduction in yeast. See the picture, students. This one is yeast, developing bud, new bud, chain of buds. Okay. Next, the small bulb-like projections coming out from the yeast cell is called bud. The small bulb-like projections coming out from the yeast cell is called a budding. That is a bud. What is bud? The small bulb-like projections coming out from the yeast cell is called bud. The bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell and forms a new yeast cell. Parent cell and form a new yeast cell. The new yeast cell grows, matures and produce more yeast cell. Or you remember, students? The new yeast cells grows, mature and produces more yeast cells. Bud arises from bud forming a chain of buds. The yeast cells are produced in a short time. Yeast cells are produced in a short time. So, budding example, yeast. Next, students, fragmentations. What is fragmentations? The state of water bodies, these are algae. Example, algae. When water and nutrients are available, algae grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentations. An algae breaks up into two or more fragments. These fragments or pieces grow into new individuals. This process continues and they cover a large area in a short period of time. There is a fragmentation in Spirogyra. Example, algae. Fragmentation example. What is the example of fragmentations? Algae. Next, spore formation. Spore formations. See. Example, the reproductions through the spore formation in fungus. Spore formation example, fungus. Fragmentation example, algae. See the picture, students. This one is a algae. The fragmentation example. Which one is the fragmentation example? Example of fragmentation, algae. Example of spore formations. What is mean by spore formations? To produce spores. C. Hypa, sporangium, spores. Okay. Next, reproductions through the spore formation in fern. Listen, spore formation for forming bodies. Next, the spores are sexual reproductive bodies. Each spore is covered by a hard protective coat to withstand unfavorable conditions such as high temperature and low humidity. High temperature and low humidity. Under the favorable conditions, a spore germinates and develops into new individuals. The plants such as moss and ferns also reproduce by means of spores. Okay. Next, sexual reproductions. Listen, you have the flowers, the reproductive parts of plant. The stems are the male reproductive part and the pistil is the female reproductive part. Next is sexual reproduction. Okay, now we are going to discuss about sexual reproduction. See the picture, students. The reproductive parts of plants, the stems, the stamens and pistil. Stamens are male reproductive part. Pistil is the female. Which one is the male reproductive part? Note the point, students. Male reproductive part, stamens. Female reproductive part, pistil. That's all. Male reproductive part, stamens. Female reproductive part, pistil. That's all. Okay. Next, students, activity. The flowers which contain either only the pistil or only the stamens are called unisexual flowers. Note the point, students. What is unisexual flowers? The flowers which contain either only the pistil or only the stamens are called unisexual flowers. Same. Okay. Stamen and pistils present in same flowers. That is a unisexual flowers. Are you clear? Okay, next, bisexual flowers. What is bisexual? The flowers which contain both the stamens and pistil are called bisexual flowers. So, unisexual flowers, bisexual flowers. Corn, papaya, cucumber produce unisexual. What is the example of unisexual flower? Define unisexual flower. Example of unisexual flower. What is the example of unisexual flowers? Corn, papaya, cucumber produce unisexual flowers. Then mustard, rose, petunia have bisexual flowers. What is the example of bisexual flowers? Mustard, rose, petunia have bisexual flowers. Okay. Are you clear, students? If you have any doubt, okay. Listen, this one is a stamen, anther, filament, then pistil. Ovule, ovary. Pistil is a female reproductive part. Stamen is a male reproductive part. Okay. Stigma, style. That is a pistil. Okay. Next, students. Listen, male gametes. Listen. Anther contains pollen grains. This one is an anther. Okay. This one is an anther. Anther contains pollen grains. Anther contains pollen grains which produce male gametes. Anther contains pollen grains which produce male gametes. A pistil consists of stigma, style and ovary. Pistil consists of stigma, style and ovary. The ovary contains one or more ovules. The female gametes or the egg is formed in the ovule. Okay. In sexual reproductions, male and female gametes fuse to form zygote. That's all. Male gametes. Anther contains pollen grains which produce male gametes. A pistil consists of stigma, style and ovary. The ovary contains one or more ovules. The female gamete or egg is formed in the ovule. In sexual reproductions, a male and female gamete fuse to form zygote. What is mean by zygote? This in sexual reproduction, a male and female gametes fuse to form zygote. That's all. Next, pollination. The pollen grains have through the protective coat which prevents them from drying up. Since the pollen grains are light, they can be carried by wind. Okay, listen. Self-pollination, cross-pollinations. Self-pollination, stigma, pollens. Stigma, pollens, this one is anther. Then cross-pollination, stigma. Self-pollination, stigma, then cross-pollination, anther, stigma. Next, what is the definition of self-pollination? The transfer of pollen from anther to the stigma of a flower called self-pollination. Pollination. What is first define pollinations? What is pollinations? Where it is located in pollens? The pollens are located in anther. The anther to produce pollens. Okay. What is pollination? The transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Okay. If the pollen lands on the stigma of the same flower, it is called self-pollinations. If the pollen lands on the stigma of the same flower, it is called self-pollination. That is a self-pollination. Next one, the pollen of flower lands on the stigma of anther flower of the same plant. The different parts of same kind, it is called cross-pollinations. Okay, what is the main difference? Self-pollination, cross-pollinations. Define pollination, self-pollination, and then cross-pollination. Okay. Listen. Next, fertilizations. What is fertilization? Next, fertilization. This one, fertilization, zygote formation. Okay. Pollen grains germinating, pollen tube, zygote formation. The formation of zygote, then this one ovum. Okay. Fertilizations. The cell with the results after fusion of the gametes is called zygote. What is zygote? The cells which results after fusion of the gametes is called zygote. Define zygote. The cells which results after fusion of the gametes is called zygote. The male process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Okay, what is fertilization? The process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. The zygote develops into an embryo. The zygote develops into an embryo. Okay, next, fruits and seed formations. After fertilization, the ovary grows into a fruit and other parts of the flower fall off. The fruits is the ripened ovary. Okay, the seeds develop from the ovules. The seeds contain an embryo closed into a protective seed coat. Okay, listen. Some fruits are fleshy, juicy, such as mango, apple, orange, walnuts, also almonds. Okay, next, seed dispersal. This happens because the seeds dispersed to different places. Okay, different places. Seeds, the drumsticks and maple. The hairy fruit of sunflower and hairy seeds of madder. This one is a zyathium. Dear students, just recall these portions. All organisms multiple or reproduce their own kind. In plants, there are two modes of reproductions. What is the two modes of reproductions? Asexual and sexual reproductions. There are several methods of sexual reproduction such as fragmentations, budding, spore formations and vegetative propagations. There are the several methods of asexual reproduction such as fragmentations, budding, spore formation and vegetative propagation. First, sexual reproduction involves the fusion of male and female gametes. Sexual reproduction involves fusion of male and female gametes. Next, vegetative propagations. The vegetative propagations, new plants are produced from different vegetative pods such as leaves, stems and roots. Vegetative propagations, new plants are produced from different vegetative pods such as leaves, stems and roots. Next, flower is the reproductive part of a plant. Flower is the reproductive part of a plant. A flower may be unisexual with either the male or female reproductive parts. A flower may be unisexual with either the male or female reproductive parts. Next, bisexual flowers. Bisexual flower has both male and female reproductive parts. The male gametes are found inside the pollen grains and the female gametes are found in the ovule. Pollination is of two types. What are the pollinations? Two types: self-pollination, cross-pollinations. In the self-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. In cross-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther of one flower to a stigma of another flower of the same kind. Next, pollination. Pollination takes place in plants with the help of wind, water and insects. The fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilizations. Okay. Next, fertilized egg is called zygote. Fertilized egg is called zygote. Okay. They develop into an embryo. Fruit is the mature ovary, whereas oval develops into seed, which contains the developing embryo. Okay, listen. Fertilized egg is called zygote. Okay. Next, seed dispersal is aided by wind, water, and animals. Seed dispersal helps the plants prevent overcrowding, avoid competitions for sunlight, water, and minerals. Invent new habitats. Okay, students, that's all students. If you any doubt, you contact with me. So go through this lesson, okay, line by line. Every line is very important. So go through this lesson. I will give some question and answers. So read and write, submit my WhatsApp number, students. So properly submit. Okay. Thank you.